Welcome to our Getting and Maintaining a Job in Canada workshop. This session is tailored majorly to international students. However, I believe most of the tips will be useful to anyone looking to learn about getting and maintaining a job in Canada. This workshop is being offered by our career education team along with a series of other workshops on career-related topics like networking, creating a LinkedIn profile and how to use LinkedIn effectively, job search strategies, interviewing strategies, resumes, cover letters, and of course today's topic on getting and maintaining a job in Canada. All our workshops are recorded and you can find them on our website and on Western's YouTube channel. In this session, I will be going over some aspects of resumes, networking, and interviewing that may pertain specifically to international students. And if you would like a more in-depth content on any one of these areas, I would encourage you to check our YouTube channel for the relevant video. This workshop will cover the following areas: job search strategies, mainly looking at resumes, the hidden job market and how to access it via networking, and a few interview strategies. Negotiation. We would look at strategies for negotiating pay and benefits. Also, we would be taking a look at how to navigate the Canadian workplace, looking at legislator, workplace culture, and norms. Lastly, you will receive information on services that are available on campus where you can seek additional help if needed. Whether you're a first year, a soph, or you're preparing for graduation, at some point in time, you will likely go through the process of getting a job. And while your home country may have been a more familiar terrain, you may feel overwhelmed by the fact that you're far away from home with no connections and not knowing how to take your first steps. This session is tailored to you. One key thing to note before we dive in: practice safe job searching. To find out more about how to practice safe job searching, please type in this link in your browser. So let's take a deeper dive into resumes. So when you hear the word resume, what thought comes to mind? What resonates? Hopefully, a resume for you doesn't mean a list of things you really never want to do again. Your resume should basically be a means to market your skills and abilities. So you want to take the time to ensure this document represents you in the best way possible. The employer only sees your resume in front of them. It's your opportunity to make a good first impression, because your resume would likely get you an interview. So take the time to ensure it represents you the best way possible. It's your document, so own it. But sometimes with resumes, there might be the tendency to go overboard. But the aim is not to inundate the recruiter with all you are and have to offer. Like this amazing cake. It looks moist, tasty, and has all the right toppings. But if you served one individual this entire cake, it might be a bit overwhelming. So perhaps you want to consider keeping things short and sweet. Like this slice. With your resume, you want to leave room for imagination. You have a wealth of experience, but not all your experience is relevant to every recruiter. So keep it relevant based on the job description. Try to limit your resume to 2 pages at the most. If you're wondering how to capture all that brilliance on 1 to 2 pages, please watch our resume workshop video where this is discussed in more detail. When it comes to putting together your resume, the challenge might sometimes be, what do I include and what do I leave out? So let's take a look at a few things you should not do. And so in essence, regarding the following areas, just don't do it. Do not include personal information like your age, sexual orientation, birth details, or even your mother's maiden name. You don't want to give anyone a reason to discriminate against you or judge you before they get the chance to see how awesome you are. Also, do not leave out your foreign education by thinking it's not relevant. For some of you, your past education and experience is the reason you are who you are today. Do not lie or overstate the truth. It is not worth it, and you will likely be found out. Another thing you want to avoid is relying solely on the skills and experience from your home country. Also, do not try to find a job all by yourself. And finally, do not submit just your resume. This is not the only document necessary in your job search. Now, let's consider a few things you can do. Contact information. Do include contact information that's accurate, up-to-date, and professional. You can use your UWO email address if you choose to. The way to showcase your foreign education is to get your credentials evaluated to show relevancy in Canada. As mentioned earlier, it's not good practice to lie or overstate the truth. There are ways you can word a statement in your resume that still presents you in a positive light without it being false information. For instance, you can say you have basic knowledge or understanding of a particular skill or area and are working towards increasing proficiency, rather than lie about having expert knowledge in that area or skill. Instead of relying solely on the skills and experience from your home country, you can also sign up for internships, co-ops, work-study, summer jobs, etc. You want to also seek out professional help with your resume and cover letter. Towards the end of this video, I will show you how you can find help. And as mentioned earlier, your resume is not the only document necessary for your job search. Except an employer specifically asks you to send only a resume, you should prepare and send a cover letter as well. Now, once you have prepared your job-related tools, mainly your resume and cover letter, the question then is, how do you move forward with finding a job? Where do you go to search for one? In essence, where are the jobs? Can you think of some places you will typically look for a job? Perhaps job boards, LinkedIn, company websites. Now let's talk about the iceberg problem. What is it? If I may ask, what percentage of jobs do you think are posted publicly? While you think about this question, take a look at this iceberg. It looks super huge when you consider what is visible to you. What is not immediately noticeable, though, is how much exists that you do not see. So, say this iceberg represents some of the standard job-seeking methods. You do not realize that the entirety of this iceberg is so much more. You do not realize that even though you see this, what exists is actually this. When put in perspective, we see how little the part above water really is. Now, as you probably already knew, with an iceberg, most of it lies below the surface, we only see a small part of it above the water. We literally see just the tip of the iceberg. It's estimated that more than 80% of job openings are never advertised. And so when people say they've applied to every job they can find, what they're really saying is they've applied to 1 in 5 jobs, because the rest are invincible, below the surface. Now this is the hidden job market. And you're probably wondering, well, how do I find the jobs then? I want access to all the jobs. In order to get access to more jobs, it's important to understand employers' hiring processes and how this compares to the way most people conduct their job search. Most people search for jobs by focusing majorly on job boards and less on networking. But on the other hand, most positions are filled through referrals from employees, moves and promotions within an organization, formal and informal networks, and job seekers who have contacted a company directly or indirectly. More and more, employers are filling positions in much more cost-effective and efficient ways. Sometimes, even when organizations do post jobs, the positions aren't really available. Someone already has their foot in the door. So what does this mean for you? It means the 80-20 principle should come into play. So 20% of your time should be dedicated to job boards and company websites, while 80% of your time should be dedicated to developing, growing, and accessing that which is hidden. In essence, networking. Now, we haven't met too many students who say, oh, finally, we get to networking. It's so great. Who loves networking? If you're thinking to yourself, well, sort of, not really, we're going to have to reframe that too. We're going to work on this. Now, this step in the job search process can appear time-consuming and is likely to take you outside of your comfort zone. For these reasons, it's common for students to ignore this step and instead pursue a job search that focuses on applying to jobs posted online. This is not an effective way to find a job. The connections we have access to can be far-reaching and can give us the advantage we need to securing a job. So now let's take a look at a few useful networking tips. You want to develop existing personal and professional relationships. Inform as many people as possible about your job search and your field of interest. Think about it for a minute. Who do you know? Who knows you? If you're searching for a job, then everyone in your current network should be aware. It's nothing to be ashamed about. You also want to strengthen your communication skills. You can check out Toastmasters on Western to find out how you can strengthen those communication skills. Do you have an online presence? Are you on LinkedIn? You want to develop your online presence and optimize your profile to show what skills and experience that you have. Definitely you want to check out LinkedIn if you're not already on it. Are you aware that you can connect with Western alumni on LinkedIn? We have a very helpful tool. If you just go to the search bar on LinkedIn and type in Western University, and then navigate to the Western University's page on LinkedIn. Along the tabs there, if you click on alumni, you're able to see all the Western alumni that are on LinkedIn. And then you also see some metrics about them. You see where they live, you see where they work, you see what they do. You also see what they studied, you see what they're skilled at and how you're connected to them. this tool can be really helpful to you in your job search. And when you do meet people, you want to conduct informational interviews, or what we call coffee chats. This is the #1 strategy to help build new relationships. One-to-one meetings with someone or with people help you build a relationship, and that leads you to becoming known, liked, and trusted. And now let's jump into interviewing. I will share some useful tips. However, for a deeper dive into interviews, please check out our interview workshop on YouTube. Tip 1. Research the position and company. Review the company's website, annual report, and social media presence. Because a commonly asked interview question is, what do you know about our organization? You can contact the recruiter for a more detailed job description, talk to people working in the field, and try to find someone who perhaps already works at the organization. You also want to research the location if it's an in-person interview. Use your navigation app to find out how long it will take you to get there 20 minutes before your interview. That's what you want to aim for. And if it's virtual, be sure that you are familiar with the specific technology to be used. Tip 2. Prepare. Understand the value of what you have to offer the organization, not simply what the organization can offer you. Know your resume well and tie your experiences, skills, and accomplishments to the job description so it's obvious to you what qualifies you for the role. Be prepared to talk about your experiences in depth and to provide concrete examples to substantiate your claims. Again, I will encourage you to please check out our interviewing workshop for a more detailed dive into the interview process, how to generate a bank of personal stories, different question types, and how to respond to each type. You can schedule a mock interview with a peer or a career coach on our website or use Interview Stream. This is a virtual space where you can record yourself as you practice your interviewing skills. Tip 3. Dress appropriately. This is not the time to wear your national colors or your Sunday best. Stick to neutral colors. You want to keep things simple and professional. Go for neat, clean, and conservative. Pay attention to your hair, avoid heavy makeup, and avoid perfumes. Tip 4. Be confident in your abilities and the value you have to offer. Also, be authentic. And finally, after the interview, you want to follow up. In Canada, it's expected that you send a thank you note within 24 hours after your interview. You can also ask for feedback from the recruiter. Reflect on the questions you were asked and stay positive. When negotiating pay and benefits, please take note of the following. Get the job offer in writing and do not rely solely on the verbal offer. The job title, salary, benefits, duties, and responsibilities should be clearly specified. Also, the offer must meet minimum standards required by law and the Employment Standards Act. Don't refuse an offer for being too low, but instead, take a day or so to think it over, and then clearly state your minimum acceptable offer. A few things to consider are research. Consider prevailing wages, job prospects, and living expenses in your location. You can explore careers on the Career Cruising website or the Government of Canada's Job Bank Career Planning tool. Ask yourself, does this position meet my financial, personal, legal, or residency status needs? Is there potential for growth, professional development, mentoring, and advancement? Also, what employment benefits are on the table? Consider medical, dental, life insurance, vacation, retirement, or pension plans. Some optional benefits could include flex time, tuition reimbursement, bonuses or stock options, fitness or club memberships, and professional development. Sometimes you find yourself having a good problem. Perhaps you've been offered multiple jobs. We find that some organizations can become more interested in a candidate who has multiple offers. They tend to become competitive to win the candidate over. At this point, you hold the power, but don't misuse it. What to do in this situation? Well, you don't have to accept the first job, but perhaps buy some time by finding out when each organization needs you to respond by. And if you're yet to receive the other offers, you can be proactive. Contact the other prospective employers to let them know you have an offer in hand. Weigh each package against your own needs. Consider benefits where salary cannot be touched. Be assertive and diplomatic, not aggressive or passive. And when you have made your decision, diplomatically turn down the other options. But be careful not to burn the bridge. Finally, let's look at navigating the Canadian workplace. You've all come from various countries and things may have been done differently in the workplace as a result of the culture in each area. So now that you're in Canada, you may be wondering how to act in the workplace. What are the rules of engagement? What should you be mindful of? We will consider a few of these on the next slides. A good place you may want to start is to know your rights. And though we will not go into specific details, it is important that you do your own research to find out your rights, as these will guide your every step. Consider the Canadian Human Rights Act. This act is to extend the laws in Canada that prescribe discrimination. Also, the Employment Standards Act protects against such things as discrimination, harassment, and safety within the workplace. And finally, the Ontario Human Rights Code. This code prohibits actions that discriminate against people based on a protected ground in a protected social area. Now, let's consider a few cultural differences that you may want to be mindful of as you go about your day-to-day work life in Canada. Eye contact. In conversation, direct eye contact shows that you are interested and paying attention. People who avoid eye contact may be considered unfriendly, untrustworthy, or lacking in self-confidence. However, be careful not to stare or maintain unbroken eye contact for long periods. Usually in Canada, looking someone in the eye or close to their eyes makes them feel that they can trust you. Scent-free. Many workplaces no longer want employees to use perfume or cologne because others may have allergies. Personal space. Canadians value their personal space and rarely touch each other while meeting or talking in the workplace. It is the custom to keep approximately 2 feet or an arm's length of space between each other when talking face to face. Standing too close can make the other person feel uncomfortable, and standing too far away appears to indicate you're not interested. Small talk. Socializing and friendship are a normal part of workplace culture in Canada. Some small talk or conversation is expected and shows you care about your colleagues. Socializing for a few minutes when you arrive at work or leave for the day, or over coffee or lunch breaks, is acceptable. However, Engaging in long conversations during office hours is not. You may want to stay away from sensitive topics. It is considered impolite to ask directly about personal affairs such as religion, age, sexual orientation, and income. If a coworker shares personal details that make you uncomfortable, you can change the subject. Speaking up and asking questions. Try to participate in group discussions and meetings, even if only to ask a few questions. Contributing your own ideas or thoughts indicates that you're interested and want to be involved. However, do not interrupt the conversation, but wait for your turn to speak. Most employers prefer that you ask questions if you do not understand procedures or instructions, rather than be confused or make mistakes. Employers appreciate workers who are eager to learn new skills and adapt to changes in the workplace. Asking questions of colleagues and your immediate supervisors is one of the best ways you can show your desire to learn and develop professionally. And finally, demonstrate good work etiquette. Be aware of etiquettes like opening doors for people coming behind you, greeting co-workers, and proper introductions. If you're leaving one opportunity for another, the best advice I will give you is don't burn bridges. Now here are a few useful tips to avoid burning bridges. You can write a letter to your boss and make it positive and personal. Outline how much you enjoyed your time at the company and maybe provide a couple of examples of amazing things you learned while on the job. This reinforces your professionalism and adds to your reputation. Perhaps they may see better your value and make a counter offer in order not to lose you. Never ever write anything negative or vent. Remember, this letter can frame up the conditions under which you depart and will likely reside in your permanent personnel file. Be mindful of what will be in that file should a future employer call your current company for references. It is always best to leave on a positive note and let go of any hostilities you may have held in the workplace. You want to start off on a clean slate in your new job, and carrying around baggage from your previous employer doesn't do you any good. Let go, say thank you, then say goodbye. It doesn't cost you anything, and you might just be surprised that someone would appreciate it. And more importantly, you never know where you might run into them again, so it's best to go out on a positive note. Sometimes the most bitter pill an employer has to swallow is the departure of a core staff member when the team is already short on people. The first concern is filling your old position to keep projects momentum moving forward. If you know of a qualified person who could step into your role, make that suggestion to your superiors. Also, you want to serve your notice period, whatever that is and whatever it is that you have agreed with your employer. The excitement of an employee's new job can lead to certain schools out for the summer mentality with workers. But you need to exceed those expectations to go out on the best note possible. Stay hungry, stay active, and keep putting in 100% so you're not perceived as a short-time slacker. You want to finish as many projects as possible. Notify all stakeholders of a change in personnel and provide an interim point of contact. If you haven't finished your projects, provide updates on them that are easily understandable. And if there are any mission critical steps that need to happen in the immediate future, point those out to those who will be managing your job duties after you leave. What you want to do is create a situation where anyone could walk into your old job and quickly get up to speed on what projects are in the pipeline and what priorities need attention first. Now, even if it was a horrible place to work, do not badmouth a previous employer in an interview, during your probationary period, or at any point with a new employer. Our career website at career.uwo.ca has a ton of resources for you. There's a Western Employment Resource Center for virtual drop-in peer support, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And they also do e-advising as well. We also have Complete Student, which is an e-learning module on career topics like resumes, interviewing, career decision-making, and job search strategies. On our website, you will find sample resumes and cover letters as well. Here are some ways that you can connect with us. You can attend a live workshop or view a recorded session of any of our workshops online on YouTube by visiting the Western's YouTube channel. You can also book in a career appointment or one-on-one support on virtually any career-related topic. Book an appointment on Western Connect. We're here, you can walk into our office. We're in the UCC on the second floor, room 210. So you can book appointments for a Zoom appointment or an in-person appointment to meet with any of our career coaches. Like I mentioned earlier, you can also visit our Western Employment Resource Center, which is your one-stop shop for personalized feedback on resumes, cover letters, CVs, LinkedIn profiles, and a little bit of interview practice as well. Finally, we have tons of online resources on our website, so visit us at career.uwo.ca. Be sure to follow us on social media for news and information. We have a LinkedIn page dedicated to careers and experience. Thank you very much for watching. We hope that the content will be useful to you as you continue your search for a job and navigate the Canadian workplace.